You've been here before? You promise yourself, this is the last time. Today, it all changes. You feel that surge of hope. You can see so clearly the person you want to be. And then life happens. Maybe it's a brutal day at work, a flicker of an old memory, or just the creeping silence of the evening. And the craving hits. But it's not just physical. It's a crushing psychological weight. It's a voice in your head that whispers, you failed again. You always fail. You are the problem. This deep internal pain is the real prison. It has a name. Psychic. And it's the engine of a vicious self-perpetuating cycle that keeps you stuck, no matter how hard you try to climb out. This isn't about finding more willpower. This is about finally understanding the shame loop that has you trapped and learning the practical mind-body strategies to break it for good. To break the cycle, you have to know what you're really fighting. And it's not just the substance or the behavior. It's the unbearable internal pain that your addiction promises to numb. The term psychic was originally coined by suicidologist Edwin Schneidman to describe this soul-level kind of anguish. It's more than sadness. It's a profound emotional suffering made of a toxic cocktail of shame, guilt, grief, and despair. Psychache is the feeling that your very self is wrong, wounded, or just unbearable. This pain is what powers the addiction cycle through a process called negative reinforcement. Think of it this way. You feel the crushing pain of your brain, desperate for an escape, screams for relief. The addiction provides that escape, temporarily hitting the mute button on the pain. That relief feels so good that your brain learns a simple, powerful lesson. Psychache hurts. This stops the hurt. But the relief is a trap, because after the effects wear off, the shame comes roaring back, and it brings friends. Shame from breaking your promise, shame from the act itself. This intensified shame creates even deeper psychic, which then triggers a more desperate craving for escape. You use to escape the shame, which causes more shame, which you then need to escape. It's a feedback loop where the solution becomes the source of the problem. What starts as an escape from pain ends up creating even more of it. And it's really important to separate two words that get tangled up here. Guilt and shame. Guilt says, I've done something bad. It feels lousy, but it's focused on a specific action. Guilt can actually be useful. It can motivate you to apologize or fix a mistake. Shame is different. Shame says, I am bad. It's not an assessment of your actions. It's a verdict on your identity. Shame doesn't lead to productive change. It leads to hiding, isolating, and wanting to disappear. And it's this toxic, core-level shame that fuels the psychache and keeps the whole cycle spinning. Let's talk about someone we'll call Alex. On the outside, Alex has it together, goes to work, has friends, pays the bills, but inside, Alex is at war. The addiction, whether it's alcohol, doom scrolling, or gambling, started as a way to turn down the volume of not feeling good enough, of past trauma, of a constant humming anxiety. And for a little while, it worked. It was a release valve. But now, it's a cage. Every Sunday night, Alex swears, this is it. This week, I'm done. I'll be clean. I'll be present. Monday's great. Tuesday's fine. But by Wednesday afternoon, after one stressful meeting, the psychic starts to bubble up. It's that familiar, hollow ache in the chest. And the inner critic starts its monologue. See? You're already cracking. You're weak. Who are you even kidding? The feeling becomes so unbearable that Alex's brain starts looking for the off switch. It knows so well. The rationalizations begin. Just a little bit, just to take the edge off. I've been good. I deserve a break from feeling like this. It's not about chasing a high anymore. It's about running from a crushing low. It's about escaping the pain of simply being Alex. So, Alex gives in, and for a few hours, blessed silence. The sick ache is gone. But then comes Thursday morning. The physical hangover is nothing compared to the emotional one. A tidal wave of shame crashes down. Asterisk, I'm a failure. I have no self. I am worthless. Asterisk, this shame is 100 times more painful than the stress from the meeting ever was. It's a deep, gut-wrenching confirmation of Alex's worst fears about himself. And that new, amplified pain is so intense that the only relief the brain can think of is the very thing that caused it. The cycle resets, but this time, the gears are wound even tighter. Alex is trapped. This cycle isn't a moral failing. It's a neurobiological process. Psychological pain and addiction literally rewire the same pathways in your brain. The parts responsible for reward, stress, and self-control, like the prefrontal cortex and nucleus accumbens, are fundamentally changed. Over time, substance use damages the brain's ability to feel pleasure from normal, healthy things while making it more sensitive to stress. Your brain gets rewired to see the addiction as a primary survival tool. When you feel the intense emotional threat of shame, your brain doesn't really distinguish it from a physical threat like a tiger in the room. It triggers a primal fight-or-flight response, and the addiction has become its well-worn escape route. This is why just stopping can feel impossible. You're not fighting a bad habit. You're up against a deeply rooted, neurologically reinforced survival instinct. Research shows a direct link between high levels of this kind of psychological pain and a much tougher road to recovery, with higher relapse rates. The shame itself is a huge barrier, completely separate from depression. This is also why confrontational, tough love approaches to treatment often backfire. They can end up just piling on more shame. Unless you address the psychic underneath, you're just trimming the weeds while the root stays put. So if white-knuckling it and beating yourself up only tightens the trap, what's the alternative? The way out isn't through more struggle. It's through a radical shift in awareness. It's about moving from fighting the addiction to gently tending to the pain that driving it. The goal is to make the psychic bearable so your brain doesn't need such a dramatic escape. This means using mind-body strategies that don't declare war on your feelings, but instead teach you how to sit with them without being totally consumed. It's about healing the wound, not just slapping another bandage on it. Here are 3 practical, evidence-based strategies you can use to start taking apart the shame loop. The shame cycle loves to run on autopilot. The feeling hits. The reaction is instant. Mindfulness is how you insert a pause between that trigger and your response. Through practices like meditation, you train your brain to notice the wave of shame as it rises, to observe it without getting swept away by it. You learn to see the thought, I am a failure, as just that, a thought passing through your mind, not an undeniable fact about you. This practice calms the nervous system, which helps reduce the perception of pain and even promotes the release of natural endorphins. It creates that tiny, crucial bit of space where you can choose a different path. Your brain has learned a very simple script. When I feel this pain, I must use cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a powerful tool for finding and challenging the automatic negative thoughts that fuel this script. You basically become a detective for your own mind. When the thought I've ruined everything pops up, you learn to question it. Is that 100% true, or did I have a setback? Which is a normal part of recovery. You work on replacing those catastrophic, shame-based thoughts with more balanced and compassionate ones. Dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, adds another layer by teaching concrete skills for distress, tolerance, and emotion regulation. When the psychic feels like it's going to swallow you whole, DBT gives you practical tools like using temperature changes, intense exercise, or paced breathing to manage that emotional storm without resorting to the addiction. It's especially effective for people whose pain is connected to past trauma. Shame makes us want to disconnect from our bodies. They can feel like the scene of the crime. Reconnecting in a safe, Gentle way is a powerful act of healing. This can be as simple as some gentle yoga or stretching, or even just going for a walk. Physical activity is a proven way to release natural endorphins and push back against the emotional numbness that sike causes. It helps you feel grounded and present in your body, against seeing it as an ally, not an enemy. For many, the root of psychoc is unresolved trauma. The addiction became a way to self-medicate wounds that never healed. Trauma-informed therapies like EMDRI movement, desensitization, and reprocessing are specifically designed to help the brain process and store these trapped memories in a new way, reducing their emotional power. By addressing the original source of the pain, you can dramatically cut the fuel supply for the entire addiction cycle. This is a deeply personal battle, and it can feel incredibly lonely. But you are not alone in this. If you feel comfortable, share one small act of self-compassion you're committing to this week in the comments. It could be as simple as speaking to yourself with kindness after making a mistake. Your story, your single act, could be the flicker of hope someone else desperately needs to see today. And if this message hit home for you, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We're rebuilding a community here that is all about breaking these cycles and building lives we do on need to escape from. The shame loop is a powerful prison, but it's not a life sentence. The key isn't more self-discipline or the key is self-compassion. It asks about finally turning towards that pain you've ever been running from and offering it kindness instead of judgment. Breaking an addiction isn't just about stopping a behavior. It's about the profound journey of healing the wounds underneath. It's about retrieving the parts of yourself you left behind out of shame. The person you are underneath the addiction isn't broken or weak. They have just been waiting patiently for you to come home. And that person deserves a full, peaceful, and happy life. If you are struggling and need to talk to someone, please know that help is available. Resources like the SAMHSA National Helpline are there for you 24/7 to provide free, confidential support and treatment referrals. Reaching out is an act of incredible strength. Healing is possible.